Welcome back to Rougham Innovation Centre and our iOSR site this year. As you can see behind me, the crop's now flowering, so we've come back to see the differences between all of the different trials that we've done. So behind me here you can see the field crop. It was drilled quite early, much earlier than our trial plots, and you can see that there's a really good thick biomass here. The pods are setting, though the crop is still in flower. Done. So I'm stood in front of what was our straw trial. So if you remember, we had a bale left in the field. We spread it out across half of the crop and then drilled straight through. Now to my left you can see that where we had the straw, the crop's established really well, got a nice flowering canopy, whereas to my right you can see that the crop didn't establish very well and it hasn't compensated particularly well either. Okay, so we're back in the area where we compared direct drilling versus cultivating beforehand. To my right is the area that we direct drilled. You can see that we've got quite a good crop established there. And then to my left is the area that was cultivated beforehand. So we will have lost some of the moisture in the seed bed through that cultivation, and also may have provided a more attractive habitat for flea beetle with a bumpier surface for them to hide in. So we're in an area now where we did some different seed rate work, and on this side where we drilled 50 seeds per metre squared, you can see that not much of a crop established at all, and we now just have an area predominantly of weeds. Whereas on this side we have quite a good crop, however that was drilled 150 seeds per metre squared, so where we have established a crop we actually have quite a thick canopy, so those plants won't be branching out so much. And potentially they won't get much light down into the canopy there. So here we're in an area of the field which we drilled on the 20th of September. If you remember from previous videos, actually in the winter we established a good plant number, though those plants were small in the winter. We were counting on a kind winter and early spring, which we did have, not many frosts, to allow the crop to grow away. You can see that the crop is quite variable, but what we have established is a really nice landing strip for all of the pigeons in the area, and they've decimated a lot of the crop. In this plot we have both a conventional and a clearfield variety drilled in different rows, so the plot was double drilled, first with the conventional and then with the clearfield. You can see the different growth habit of the different varieties, with the conventional going into stem extension, whereas the clearfield variety is still much lower down. What that's resulted in now is a pretty uneven looking crop with a lot of height differences with the different plants. So in these plots we played around with the seed rates of the conventional and the clearfield varieties. On my left here there was a 50-50 split of each, whereas on my right there's a 25% clearfield variety and 75% conventional. So where we've used the chlorabo, we've taken out more plants on the right hand side than on the left, so you can manage your plant number effectively. We also did trials including white mustard as a repellent for cabbage stem flea beetle. We tried that both in the rows and in between the rows to see if there was any difference in the competitiveness with the crop. What we found was that when the mustard was in between the rows, it shaded the oilseed rate more, and actually those plots seemed to suffer more from the competition. We really struggled to control the mustard this year, and that competition extended through into January, which meant that the crop didn't get going as quickly in the spring, and subsequently there's been a lot of pigeon damage in these plots too. So you can see from the chart there that mustard had a 58% reduction on the number of larvae when it was drilled in the same rows as the crop, which is quite significant. However, as I said before, I don't think that those plots are likely to yield very well. So these are the plots where we tried defoliation as a method of killing cabbage stem flea beetle. So we used a lawnmower in this instance, and we had two different timings. So we tried it once in November, and there we did two plots where one we cut down just once with the lawnmower, and another plot we cut down twice to take away even more green material. We then also did the same in February, and as you can see, the crop has recovered to a certain degree. And the reduction in flea beetle that we saw was significant, mostly from the November flailing twice, where we saw a reduction of nearly 60%. Though a lot of pigeon damage has also been done in here, and I don't think that these plots will yield very well. So we did lots of trials on the site this year, and many of the results remain to be seen from what yield results we get from them. However, I think there have been some really significant learnings along the way. Firstly, I think there's no straightforward answer that works for everyone, and we must think of situations on a case-by-case basis. Establishment of oilseed rape is not just a flea beetle issue. There's lots of things working against you at that time, and learning how to manage those all together is what we really need to do. More research is needed in order to do this, and we'll continue to do that into next season. Thanks for your interest in the site, and we'll see you again next year.